Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me for Veg with Lisa Live. Don't mind me. I'm just blowing my own trumpet mushroom. But before we get started, let me know that you're here and that you can see me and that you can hear me by typing in the comments and say hi. I promise I might not embarrass you too badly or bring you on camera. No, just kidding. So today, what's happening on Veg with Lisa Live? I am going to turn these beautiful mushrooms into scallops. Why in the world would I want to turn these mushrooms into scallops and not just eat the scallops? Truth be told, I love scallops. Cousin Mildred, hello. I wonder if you have mushrooms like this in Wales or if you have scallops in Wales. Anywho, why would I want to turn these mushrooms into scallops? When I love scallops? Well, first of all, because they're absolutely delicious. And remember, if it's not delicious, if it's not fun, well, let's do something else because it's not worth it. Secondly, mushrooms have incredible, magical, medicinal powers that I want to harness. And I bet you do too. Lori, I knew you were going to be excited about this episode. Thirdly, we all got to eat more plants, okay? I love scallops. I'm not 100% plant-based, but I eat a SHIT ton of plants. Why? Because we have to for the fiber. We have to for a healthy gut. We just have to eat lots of plants, and mushrooms grow, so therefore they are a plant. Rob wants to know if I'm going to turn these mushrooms into scallops on purpose or just for the halibut. Both, Rob. What a great question, and I am going to do both. Fourth reason that we want to turn mushrooms into scallops, it's a lot better for those poor little scallops that we won't be killing, right? Okay, woohoo, let's get started. But first of all, a little show and tell. Aren't these absolutely stunning? Okay, Mildred's never heard of mushroom scallops, so you're about to see something for the first time. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. These are called King Trumpet or King Oyster mushrooms, and they are actually the largest member of the oyster mushroom family. Hi, Marilyn. Now, if you want to do this, you probably are wondering, where in the world am I going to get these crazy specimens? You might be able to forage for them. I've never been so fortunate. I think most of the mushrooms that we buy nowadays have been cultivated. I got these at my local farmer's market here in Asheville, and the farmer, it's Black Trumpet Farms, and they grow all different kinds of beautiful mushrooms like this. So if you're not fortunate enough to forage for yourself and find these, check your local's farmer's market or your grocery store. Supermarkets are starting to carry a lot more of these beauties because they're really trendy, which is fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we figured out how to get them. Now, when you get them home, what are you going to do with them before you cook them? Do not, I repeat, do not put them in a plastic bag. You want to put them in a paper bag like this and store them until you're ready to cook with them. If you put them in plastic, they tend to get all slimy and mushy, and that's no good for anyone. Okay, let's turn you down here, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna turn these beauties into scallops. So you might not quite know what to do with this once you get it home and get it out of your paper bag. So I'll show you. And they won't always come like this. Sometimes they'll come already separated like this. Well, the process, the principle is the same. You'll cut off this kind of little weird part, and then I like to keep those because I make my homemade stock. You don't have to. You can toss these in your compost. And then you've got these gorgeous stems. Look at these. Aren't they absolutely amazing, beautiful creatures? Now, you may know what a scallop disc, kind of like this, so we just want to simulate that. So I'm going to cut these into about 1 inch little scallops, and then I'm going to put these aside, the caps aside, to saute for later. So see, I'm just cutting these little scallops now. Ooh, baby, look at this one. These daddies, that can be a big fat scallop. Yep, so you see, that's all I'm doing. I'm simply slicing these into scallops. These would be fantastic, which is what we'll do. Hi, Lindsay. We will saute these, probably with some spinach and some garlic later. All right. Don't you just love these? They're so fun. King trumpet mushroom. Okay, now that I've showed you how to prep your scallop, now you want to know what the heck to do with it. Well, I've got some of that said homemade veggie broth on the stove. You do not have to make your own, but if you're buying some, yeah, Rob says Rosa B style fat juicy scallops. He's right. Those, I'm afraid to admit, are the real scallops, which is why I want to make some for mushrooms so I don't feel so guilty when I do eat an occasional scallop, live, dead. Mushroom, veggie stock, you can make your own, but you don't have to. If you're buying it out of the aseptic containers, read your labels because they are so often contaminated with sugar and dextrose and maltose and maltese and stuff you don't want in your belly. You don't want to eat that stuff in your belly. So make your own or read the label. Okay, in this pot, I've warmed this. I'm going to add another ingredient you may not be super familiar with, miso paste. Now, this is white miso. Miso is made from fermented soy, organic fermented soy, and it just adds a really nice little, I think it's that nami flavoring. It's just a little bit, I don't know how to describe it, fermenty. Pekingese, no, Rob. Not going to eat any Pekingese. So I'm stirring some miso into my warmed veggie broth. Now, one of the secrets to making vegan seafood is how do you get that briny taste? Well, I like to use seaweed. So I usually keep some seaweed on hand. You can buy bags of it like this. Mildred, I bet you can get real fresh seaweed from the coast in Wales. So this is just some dried seaweed that I'm gonna crumple into, oh my goodness, my broth that I almost spilled. I get so excited to blow my trumpet. I just can't help myself. Okay, part of my problem is I've not cleared my workspace. There we go. So I've got veggie broth warmed. I've got some white miso paste that I'm dissolving in the warm veggie broth. I've got some seaweed. And if you don't keep seaweed on hand, you might have some of these seaweed snacks. These are really good. You can rip some of those up and throw them in. That's what I usually do if I don't have seaweed. Just a little bit of oil. So I'm making a brine. Hey, Sid, I'm making a brine and / a marinade so that I can give my scallops, my mushroom scallops, a little bit of a sea taste. Now, I did some ahead of time, and let me show you. Oh, goodness gracious. I need to take some deep breaths. I just get so excited. So I made some of this ahead of time to show you. Look, so this is my marinade, my brine, in a pot, in a pan, with some scallops, and I just pop them in there to marinate them. Oh, yes. So Lori, who lives in Kansas City, said that she has a favorite mushroom vendor, Dragonfly Farms in Overland Park at the farmer's market. Ellie, where have you been? It's good to see you. Okay, so warm veggie broth, miso paste, some seaweed for some sea flavor, a little bit of oil. You can see the little bits of seaweed here in these ones that I've done ahead of time. These are the ones that I did earlier, and these are the Big Daddy Juicy Scallops that I just did. Marinate your mushy scallops, mushroom scallops, maybe a couple hours, overnight, even better. That'll get really, really yummy. And then I'll give you a little hint. Don't throw that marinade out. You can save it and you could cook your mushroom caps in it, or it would make fantastic ramen broth. All right, so let's see. I think I've gotten myself under control here. Now, I am dying to show you. Oh, after they've marinated, all you're gonna do is saute them in your skillet. Let me show you. This is the coolest part. You will not believe, look at this. Do these look just like scallops or what? Look at that. Yes, because they are. They just happen to be mushroom scallops. So what are some of the health benefits of these beauties of shrooms? Well, most mushrooms are believed to have all kinds of medicinal value. Now, there's probably not a ton of science out there yet because you know, who's going to get rich from mushrooms being magical other than nobody, right? We can't, it's not a pharmaceutical. So there might not be a ton of science out there, but there's a lot of what I consider to be a really credible resource saying that mushrooms have amazing antioxidants, particularly certain special magic ones that help eradicate that free radical, the that all that stuff that causes cancer. So they may help prevent against cancer. One of the most amazing reasons. They're also a really high quality, have a high quantity of selenium, which is another essential antioxidant. Okay, let me show you what I would do. Now, quinoa, some spinach. Maybe I would saute the spinach, but for lunch I want to have it raw like a little salad. And then I put my scallops on there. Aren't they absolutely beautiful? Look at how juicy they look. Yeah? Gorgeous. Gorgeous, huh? Absolutely gorgeous. You could deglaze your pan if you want to with a little bit of wine. I'm not going to be that fancy for lunch. I am going to squeeze them with some fresh lemon juice, just like you would scallops. And then I'm totally into sprouts these days. Speaking of local farmers and farmers market, I got some leek microgreens. Look at these bad boys. Aren't they absolutely beautiful? Can you see the little leek seed on the top? And then these are kohlrabi microgreens. Kohlrabi for lunch. I'll never forget that one, Ellie. You are so clever. Okay, so let me show you. I forgot to grab a knife. Here's what we're gonna do now. We are going to eat me these bad boy beautiful scallops for lunch. Look at that, just as juicy as a real scallop. Oh my gosh, amazing. You know what else I forgot? It's sitting right here. I put it in the ones I made already, but I forgot to soy sauce. Yeah, that's also going to help with that sea flavored. I forgot to put the soy sauce in my marinated in my broth, but I did not forget to put it in here, which is why I remembered that I forgot to put it in there because I could taste it. Ah! Magical mushroom, plant-based scallops, another plant win. You don't have to be vegan, you don't have to be vegetarian, but you have to eat more plants. And you for sure want to try turning some of these beautiful king trumpet mushrooms into scallops. Thank you for watching Veg with Lisa live. Have a great week, and I'll see you all next time.